strips them of their rights and their self-determination and their future. On this anniversary, we reaffirm our commitment to standing with the people, all those who fight for freedom and democracy across the world.
Republicans in House Representatives just proposed a new spending bill, folks. And that means millions of Americans may qualify for a $600 state stimulus check. Everybody, we have a lot of news to cover in today's video. But first, folks, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family. I always do my best in providing you guys with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. So it really means a lot to me if you guys could subscribe. Now, House Republicans just introduced a 5-year, $400 billion transportation bill on Wednesday that directs historic levels of funding to highways, bridges, and transit systems. The bill comes amid ongoing talks this week between the White House and Senate Republicans over their competing infrastructure plans. The bill unveiled on Wednesday represents a potential third option for infrastructure funding, and one that's more narrowly focused than either the White House plan or the Senate Republicans' plan. Representative Sam Graves, the ranking member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, told reporters, "Our bill focuses on the core infrastructure that helps move people and goods to our communities every single day, cuts red tape that holds up project construction, and gets resources into the hands of our states and locals with as few strings attached as possible." So everybody, unlike the proposals currently on the table from the White House and Senate Republicans, this bill is not a piece of standalone legislation. Rather, it is a reauthorization of the current 5-year transportation funding bill, which expires on September 30th. Beyond those plans, Biden also wants to include billions of dollars more to fund research and development, to fund some more schools, and as well as electric vehicle charging stations. The House Republicans' plan also proposes spending much less than Biden's $2.3 trillion proposal. And their counteroffer is also less than the Senate Republicans' counteroffer, which comes in at around $570 billion. Everybody, what are your thoughts on this? Should President Biden be focused more on helping out our seniors by increasing the Social Security benefits? Or do you think that he should be more focused on childcare? What do you think about President Biden, everybody? Tell me down in the comments. Now, Biden has already said that he wants to reach a compromise agreement with Republicans on infrastructure. To do that, he appears to be willing to bundle the hard infrastructure elements of his American Jobs Plan into a separate bill, if that means it could pass with bipartisan support. But Republicans have balked at Biden's infrastructure plan, criticizing its price tag and the proposed increase in the corporate tax rate that Biden would use to pay for it. The GOP counteroffer plan would be limited to hard infrastructure, and it will be paid for using a mix of user fees, repurposed stimulus relief funds, and following a meeting, everybody, a small group of Republican senators met on Tuesday with White House negotiators to continue working on a bipartisan infrastructure deal. A White House spokesperson said that Biden's team was encouraged by the talks, and the White House will follow up with the senators later this week. Republicans also said the closed-door meeting was productive. Senator Roy Blunt said, "We talked about the ways they can get into some non-traditional sources of revenue." But everybody, Republicans also insist that any bipartisan bill include a tax or a fee on EV drivers who do not pay the gas taxes that fund the Federal Highway Trust Fund. Democrats, however, insist that any final bill also include money to install hundreds of thousands of dollars on new charging stations for EV vehicles across the country. Now, this past Monday marked the final day to get your taxes filed on time, and that means millions of Americans who do file may qualify to receive a $600 stimulus payment. Everybody, for Californians who made $75,000 or less in 2020, getting tax returns mailed in by the tax day deadline was a must. Those tax filers will receive a one-time $600 stimulus payment as part of the Golden State Stimulus Plan. And those who use an individual tax ID number or earned income tax credit making less than $30,000 are also eligible to receive an additional $600. People receiving SSDI benefits also automatically receive their payments. Stimulus payments were sent out starting April 15th, but if you filed your taxes on or after March 2nd, you should allow up to 45 days to receive a direct deposit. Everybody, that is all the news in this video. If you folks found this video useful and helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends and family, and give this video a like.
Percent due, and that number is shrinking every day. The result is that many of our parents and our grandparents are trying to survive on totally inadequate incomes. Millions of seniors today are trying to make ends meet, buy the medicine they need, buy the food they require, or heat their homes on incomes of $12,000 or $13,000 a year. Frankly, I don't know how they do it. And the truth is that many of them really don't do it. Many of them don't take the medicine that they should. Many of them live in homes that are too cold in the winter. Many of them don't get the nutrition they need in order to stay healthy. That is not how we should treat the seniors of this country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Fudge, we've discussed the importance of addressing our nation's affordable housing crisis head on, and I know that you are committed to increasing the number of affordable units available to families. But those homes have to be built somewhere, and too many communities around the country, restrictive zoning laws that were born out of racial segregation prevent new affordable housing units from being built. Using exclusionary zoning to keep families, often lower income families and families of color, out of certain neighborhoods is wrong. And over time, the harm really adds up. Exclusionary practices drive up the cost of housing for everyone and reduce the amount of available land. So, Secretary Fudge, at your confirmation hearing, you told this committee that it is important that we get rid of the notion of not in my backyard. How does that not in my backyard approach impede efforts to address the affordable housing crisis?
Well, first off, thank you, Senator, for our ongoing conversations about this. The first thing that it does is it increases the cost of housing and it limits where we can build housing. If you have restrictive zoning ordinances, then there are two things that happen or can happen. One is that where there is available land, you cannot build, or the zoning is so onerous that it costs you more money to build. Maybe they put all kinds of restrictions on it that increase the cost of buying the property. The other thing it does is it just basically says to people in our communities, we do not want you to live in our neighborhood if you are low income, if you are a person of color. And so what we have found is that these laws have been around so very long that the jobs plan now gives us the opportunity to go into communities with some incentives to assist them in how we discuss it, how we can give them the kind of technical assistance to change it, how we engage communities so that we can have a better narrative about why we should allow new housing and housing that is not restrictive in communities that historically have prevented us from building.
Right. So let me follow up on that. How would incentives help? Aren't these changes that the federal government can just make on its own to get this out?